I guess we're all in the Atlanta area at the moment.
Yeah.
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 Then we split our time between Atlanta, and our family has a farm in close to Savannah in Georgia. So we South Georgia, if you will. So we split our time between the two. Got to get some country in every now and then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. You got to get away from this big city and the rat race
Yeah.
here.
That's right.
Yes.
Gosh, the driving has just gotten even like way worse. I've been here a long time too. It's like, wow, it just keeps
Yeah.
getting
There's
worse.
no rhyme or reason. There's
Yeah.
just always traffic.
Always bad.
Yeah.
It's just always bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be just the rush hour and like,
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah. There's no rhyme or reason to it.
Yeah.
So let's start from the beginning. How did you all meet and how did this all become the Waymores?
So Willie and I met 100 years ago in
Seems like
this really big ensemble that we were both part of. There were like 16 people in the band.
Opry style
It
thing.
was, yeah, very Opry style. And I was just kind of singing at the time, didn't know how to play guitar, had never really heard that much country music. And then I met Willie one night, and he was actually playing with his full band at the same club that that's what we ended up in the ensemble played at. And I saw him and I was just like, I want everything on that stage right now. I want him. I want
do
that
have
music.
that effect on people.
So I, ran over there and just grabbed him and kept him forever.
And that's 14 years ago.
In April, we will have been together for 14 years. That was actually probably about 15 years ago that we met. It took me a while to snag him and convince him I was a great person to be a partner with.
Turns out she was right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But about 5 years ago, I had a career going already, and I was touring about 200 days a year when we met. And then Kira started doing her own thing, put a band together, started playing around. And eventually, we were both at the same headache. It's like I go on the road and I come home with no money because I have all these guys to pay, and she was like, yeah, I feel your pain. So we were like, let's just start doing something acoustic where it's just you and I, and we just wanted to do it around Atlanta first, just to make some rent money, and we didn't want to oversaturate our name because we both had separate careers. So we started calling it the Waymores, and it got way more successful and busy than I ever thought it would.
The puns.
Good.
The puns. So that's the story of that.
Became the theme song, basically, Waymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. So here in the Atlanta area, what kind of places do you play?
Well, we've done Smithsonian Bar when we do. We've had the privilege of opening for some big names at Smithsonian Bar. And
we play a lot north of the city. We got our start with a residency that ended up lasting like
5 years,
five or 6 years at the Dixie Tavern, which is in Marietta, Georgia. And then we play little honky tonks kind of scattered all around.
The Rusty Barrel. We play a lot of juke joints,
Yeah.
But we've done the Earl, I think. Did we do the Earl?
Yeah, we did that a long time ago, though.
And we've done Smithsonian Bar, and we've done the Star Bar. But, with things as crazy as they are right now, we just kind of stay in the juke joints close to home while we're in Atlanta.
Yeah, and it's just so great just to be able to you got your guitars. You're not bringing all, you're not schlepping
Yeah,
equipment.
Right. It's so funny when we're on the road that our merchandise, man, we figured out a long time ago that merchandise is where, you really make your money. So it's funny, only a quarter of our gear, it takes up a quarter of the space in the van just for our gear.
Our PA gear.
Our PA gear and our guitars, but all of the store that we drag around eats up the rest of the space in the van.
Right, yeah. The shirts, and you have CDs as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we have everything you could think of. We have flasks and little dugouts and all sorts of
prayer candles. We have prayer candles.
Yep.
You need
we have some ridiculous store stuff.
No magic carpet though for you to
Not yet.
No, but we do drag a big carpet around with us everywhere we go to put on the stage.
Yeah, there's something about that though. It probably makes you feel at home. It's like you're bringing that with you.
Exactly. Yeah.
I always notice that too. Or they'll be burning incense if the venue lets you do that.
Yeah.
It's a good inspirational fail.
Right.
So your latest releases, this is very exciting. Stone Sessions. So how has this come about?
We wrote a lot of Stone Sessions during quarantine, just as a lot of artists did. Willie said in an interview we did the other day that it was like came out of the lockdown and every musician free time to write and be artists again instead of being on the road and doing the business part of it. So we wrote a lot of it during quarantine, and you'll kind of hear that theme through some of the songs about, like in our song Road Worn, it talks about missing the road and wanting to be back on it and be back, just touring. Our tour life was our whole world before the pandemic hit. And so we had a lot of feelings about that when it got taken away. As did everyone, I think. So
we did a few live streams, some high dollar ones. And then we did 2 really good production live streams, and then did one just sitting in the living room with the guitars. But they were all profitable. Everybody, they really helped us survive, the live stream thing.
So do you do like the live stream and the PayPal? That's a really great idea.
Yeah.
And when you can't tour, it was just a beautiful thing. It really saved us. People really, we made a lot of money every time we did it. It was a beautiful thing.
So putting Stone Sessions together, this is kind of the pandemic way of doing things. So you all did your vocals and sent files back and forth. And you have like a good mix master. Is Steve Stone as your producer?
Steve Stone, yeah. We would go to Steve's little studio, and we would lay down a scratch guitar and vocal tracks, but then we'd go ahead and put a bass track on it. Then we'd send it to Sean Thacker, our drummer, best drummer in Atlanta as far as I'm concerned. He would lay down a drum track and he would send it back over and say, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? It's not like you get to be in the same room together making it, like, hey, don't do this, do that. It takes a whole transaction to get that little bit of conversation down about what to do. So it was time consuming, but we did it, by golly.
Yeah, we missed a little bit of the camaraderie that you get in the studio. Just having those little moments of creating together.
An aha moment as a group, that was gone.
But we still kind of, like Willie said, it just took a longer process to get there. So we'd get some tracks from our guys and sit around listening to them and debating them, and then contact our guys back and do this, don't do this, so it was all still there. It just took a little longer.
Yeah, the steel pedal seems to be a prominent theme that runs through a lot of the songs here.
Yeah, so Steve Stone plays steel all over the album. So he was just kind of sitting with these songs and he was like, I gotta do it. And we were thrilled because he's a great steel player.
Yeah, he was a great steel player, and it was just fun to help even create some of the steel parts together, because I'm not a steel player, neither is she, but he's like, do this lick, do this.
Yeah.
So it was really fun because steel's not a luxury we have access to all the time. So it was really nice to make a record with, the steel guitar on there. It really added a lot of flavor to it.
So with Stone Sessions, how many songs are on this?
10 songs.
10 songs.
Yep.
Yeah, our first album is an EP.
Yeah.
Everybody talked to has like an EP coming out. It's like people do one or two songs. It's like they gotta get them out like every 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, it's difficult in today's environment to put out a full-length album and give it the time that you used to get out of it. It used to be kind of standard was you got 2 years out of an album. And I don't know that that's going to happen with this.
Yeah.
So we already have some plans for, 6 to 8 months down the road about just trying to help continue the life of this one.
Well, being able to download a song, get a song, or stream a song, it's almost like the music industry's back to the 50s where they release singles all the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's kind of the path that we started with this. When we started the Stone Sessions, we were like, hey, we're just going to make a song every now and then because we've got nothing else to do. And then we'll just drip feed them. And once we have 10, we'll just put them all on an album. But it wound up getting legs quickly. And we're like, no, we have to make a whole album.
Yeah. We wound up with Hello Wendy PR firm and out of California. And
she said, stop doing that.
She was like, stop everything you're doing. You're doing it wrong.
Stop drip feeding. Make an album.
As kindly as possible told me to stop what I was doing. And but she liked what she heard, and so we went the route. I trust her judgment completely, and she's put a lot of great stuff out under her firm, and so we stopped, we listened to her, and we're really glad that we did.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's great. I mean, I love the whole concept of an album. It's like it's a good time capsule and not just like, you know, hit singles here and there. It's
yeah. And once you listen to an album, continue, even if it's not a concept album that's telling the story, right? If you listen to an album, after a while, you will start to tell a story in your head that ties all of those songs together. You know, it's neat. You know, I like singles, but sometimes, man, you just got to have a full album. And there are some albums that you have to listen to it front to back. It's like you can't start it in the middle. You can't just play one song off the album. If you're going to listen to that album, you've got to listen to all 40 minutes of it or whatever.
Like Redheaded Stranger.
Yeah, like Redheaded Stranger. You have to listen to that album front to back.
Oh, absolutely. It's like just a movie, you know, it's like start to finish. It's like, I got to hear the whole thing, not just like a hit single here and there.
Yeah.
I love it. That's awesome. So you got some good songs on this. Speaking of single songs on here, what are one of your favorites that come off of this?
Ooh,
that's hard. There's a
like they're all your favorites.
You're like, that's hard. I have an answer right out of
the gate. No, I mean, I love them all, but Even When is probably one of my favorites on there.
It's a real rocker.
All of them, but Even When is probably my favorite one on there.
My favorite is Road Worn. Right now, that might change next week or the week after, but my favorite is Road Worn.
Nice. Yeah. Even When, it's like, it's a real good rocker. It talks about relationships.
Yeah.
When they can go bad, right?
Yeah. As they tend to do.
Yeah.
No offense, baby.
Very good. And you got another great song in there, Die Right There. I like that.
Die Right Here.
Yeah, Die Right Here. We actually that was one of the ones we put out right before we spoke to Wendy, and when she was like, no, stop.
Yeah.
Die Right Here was really, that's kind of your baby.
Well, Kira and I really write well together as to where if I can start something and have an idea of it and just show her what I've got. She taps right into my head and takes it, you know, she basically is the other half of my brain now. But she had something heated going on, some business deal going bad or something. And she was hot and heavy on the phone. And I was just wandering around the room with the guitar in my hand. And I started, you know, with that, just started talking about some of the friends that I knew that always said they were going to do this and conquer the world and never, still working at the factory in our hometown, you know. So I wrote the chorus and part of a verse and showed it to Kira. And she was so mad and aggravated when I went over there to show her because of the phone call. And she just stopped and went blank. She went, cancel everything we're doing today. We're going to finish this song. And I went, yes, ma'am. And we sat around and crafted that sucker. But I really like it. I really like it. It's different and it's weird, but I like it.
Yeah, it's got that Waylon Jennings. Yeah, Waylon Jennings.
Very.
To it.
Yeah, that was the direction we knew we were going to go with it when we started forming as a song. We knew we wanted that slow, you know, Clive plays electric bass kind of feel to it.
That's great. So what's the songwriting process like? Does one do the lyrics, the other the melody? You both crisscross on the formation?
There's a lot of, yes, all of that. So sometimes Willie brings me something, sometimes I bring him something. It's very rare. I don't even know if we've ever sat down for like a writing session, like with intent to write. It always is something that stops us in our tracks. Like he said about Die Right Here, where he brought it to me and I was like, the whole day's screwed. We got to write songs now.
Can I give you my antenna?
So go ahead.
So I had this theory about songwriting whenever people ask, because I know my capabilities as an artist. I'm also an illustrator and do other artistic things, but songwriting is different because to me, it's like you're just an antenna and you're receiving the song. The song is already out there in the world. Just the life that you live conditions you to be a certain type of antenna. And I believe that. So once you start getting the song, you know it's coming. I mean, I'll come in the door and go, we don't sit down to write. One of us will just bust in the door and go like, check this out. I've started this, and we will just cancel plans or do whatever if we feel that song is about to be born. You know, it's like a pregnant woman on the prairie. You know, it's like this baby's coming right now. Stop. You got to stop everything you're doing. You know, it's that same, we're birthing a song. But I thought my antenna was broken for a while because I was writing and writing and writing. Then one day it just stopped, and Kira Patch fixed my antenna. So now it turns out we both received the same signals. That's the way I look at it. They just kind of come on their own.
Yeah, it's nice if one has writer's block, the other one can get the other one through it.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
sure.
Absolutely. She is literally the other half of my brain when we're writing a song. I can't believe.
I'm most of the brain, not just half. I'm most of it.
Oh, that's funny.
yeah. And the singing is just so soothing, and it really just goes so well along with a lot of these songs. And just, did you want to do like a full or a snippet of one of the tracks off of
Sure.
Stone Session?
Sure, we can do a full song.
We'll do a
if you
full song
like,
for
yeah.
you.
Do you want to do even one?
Sure.
Figure out how to sit here.
Are you ready?
Nope. All right.
You ready?
I don't miss none of my friends left me high and dry back then. If you're sitting home just wondering, I don't miss you, I don't miss you even when walking alone in the cold, cold wind. Those old memories rushing in, the cold cut deep just like a long lost friend. I don't miss you, I don't miss you even when I see your photos in an old shoebox, keeping track of everything I've lost, trying hard to hold on to what I've got. It ain't a lie, it's not a lie. I got everything I need, worn out boots and homegrown weed. I'm the match, you're the gasoline. I don't miss you, I don't miss you constantly, till I see your photos in an old shoebox, keeping track of everything I've lost, trying hard to hold on to what I've got. It ain't a lie, it's not a lie. I don't miss none of my friends that left me high and dry back then. So if you're sitting home just wondering, I don't miss you, I don't miss you even when I don't miss you, I don't miss you even when.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.
Yeah,
And the
thank
crowd
you.
goes wild.
Yeah, exciting. A full-length LP. And I was thinking of your EP because I was listening to that just before all of this.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, that's that guy's just an EP, but on the vinyl there are 10 tracks, but on the EP,
CD
the
and the
digital,
digital,
yeah,
yeah.
there's only 5. So
EP is-
But on this one, on Stone Sessions, it's all 10,
all
the
10,
way
all
around.
10 on it. Yeah.
EP is called Weeds, which how long ago was that one released?
2019,
2019.
I think. Yeah,
I think April of 2019, that one was released. Yeah.
was it? Because we went to Europe. Did we have it when we were in England?
No.
Okay. Nope. 2019.
The timeline can get so foggy, especially after
Yeah.
We know our stuff.
Yeah.
dealing with COVID. I think our time is just like that's a 2-year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I barely know what year we're in right now, so that's
What's
a tough
funny-
question.
What's funny about the quarantine is now everybody can write songs about being locked up, whether you've been to prison or not.
Yeah.
So many.
Everybody's an outlaw.
Even Van Morrison, who's been this big.
Yeah.
Gosh, who would ever have thought that? And Eric Clapton.
Yeah, I know.
Gosh. Matches is a really cool track. It's got that Johnny Cash vibe. I really love that. So he must be a huge influence on your work.
Oh,
For
yeah,
sure.
yeah, for sure.
Matches was kind of neat writing wise.
Yeah.
I wrote most of the verses, and then Willie came to me and was like, "Hey, I have this chorus that I wrote like 10 years ago."
No, it was like 15
like,
or
yeah,
20. I've
15
been
or
carrying
20
this
years ago.
course around for almost 20 years.
He's like, I think that it might fit. I've never had a song that it fit with. And so we tried it out and we were both like dancing in our shoes, you know, just in the middle of the living room, like, oh my God, it fits.
I remember the first time we played it, we were in Pittsburgh on tour.
We were staying at a friend's house on tour and we played it all the way through and we were just thrilled.
It wasn't a hit, but in my head it was.
Your mind.
Yes, it's a hit to us.
It's really all that matters. Who cares about record company execs?
Yeah, man, it's really it's a hit to us, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, and to your fans, you know, the following and people who you're playing to in these places. So you know, it's really interesting to hear your backstory. Now, Willie, it's like sounds like a country song. Where were you born? This is like something that could be written about.
I was born in Atlanta. So the story is, you know, it's what my family's always said. It was a bad winter storm. It was January. So my mother started having a baby and, my dad was way out in Woodstock, you know, and trying to get to the big hospital. But the roads were iced over. So my dad ran off the road. A police officer came along and swept everybody up and put us in the patrol car to take us to the hospital. So that's the big grand story. That's it. It just reads better on paper when you say born in a police car. You know,
I did hear a tale from his family though that his dad was really upset when he got a bill and it said like the doctor's fee.
Yeah.
He's like, there wasn't a doctor there. It was me and a police officer. So that's at least a funny element. Yeah.
I'm sure it's played out many times in the Atlanta metro area when we do get that snow and ice and people pick on us. I grew up way north of here where there was snow in Cleveland, Ohio. So coming down here was a real treat to get away from it. But it's like, I understand. It's like, I'm staying off these roads. It's like, I'm not going anywhere. They don't treat anything.
Yeah, people don't know how to drive in that kind of weather down here.
Yeah, there's no way. Even the best, you know, you can't drive on that untreated surface. It's insane.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, for sure.
And way back when, 40 years ago, I think around this month, 40 years ago, this place got iced over. I heard a legend about that, and I've experienced
That's 82, right? Yeah, I remember living in Marietta when I was a youngin'.
I wasn't born yet.
Whoops.
Hey, the youthful spirit is what helps us act, I'm sure. Some other great tracks on Stone Sessions. I Don't Like Liquor.
You don't like I Don't Like the Liquor?
I don't like liquor.
Yeah, that's a really fun tune to play. It's become quite a bit of an anthem for us. You want to talk about it?
We a friend of ours actually wrote that song. Anders Thompson. He's out of Savannah, Georgia. He's got the Anders Thompson Trio, and he posted just like a little snippet of him playing that song on Instagram. And he and Willie go way back, and Willie messaged him and was like, man, have you released this? Have you, and Anders said no, and gave us permission to kind of do what we wanted with it. We changed some lyrics to be a little more fitting to the Waymores. Like the tequila line, I don't think was in there.
Yeah. We took liberties with it, but kept the integrity of the song.
We kept, the great bones that it already had, that Anders gave it. And we actually ended up, we had this whole big music video shoot planned for it, and our lead player couldn't make it. And Willie called Anders just kind of on a whim, and it just so happened that he was in town that weekend.
Yeah, just weird.
With his family. So he came by and actually got to play lead in the video for that track. So that was a really nice little serendipitous thing that we got to do. And it's a really fun video as well. But it's a fun song. It's cute and, definitely a little on the bad side. Talk about outlaw shit, doing cocaine and drinking liquor and stuff. Those days are a little far behind us now.
But nobody's got to know that.
But it's still a really fun one to sing.
Yeah, it's very, Anders is a real cool cat. He was in this band. He had this band in the late 90s called the Ex-Husbands. And it's right up. I was always a big fan of those guys. So when I saw them do that song, I was like, I always wanted to cut one of their songs. And here's one that hasn't even seen the light of day yet. So he was really nice about us doing it. It's become quite a little bit of an anthem now.
Yeah, it's one that everybody gets to sing along to at least.
So what was it like now going way back? You were in an act called the No Count Palookas.
That was the
Mhm.
ensemble that we
Yeah,
met
the
in.
big
Yeah.
ensemble was No Count Palooka.
Yeah. And it was a big, like I said, it's an opera style thing where different people would sing, and I'd play either guitar or I play upright bass too. I would play upright bass on a song. And, the only thing Kira ever did was sing.
That's not true. That was just at the beginning.
But it was a kind of a corporate thing, and we would all just kind of change instruments out, and but that's where we met. And she couldn't stand me at first.
I loved him right out of the gate, and that was the problem.
You did, yeah. You fought for him. That's the as the press really.
I
She
did.
did.
I had to beat some women, beat all the other girls away and convince him that I was the one that was worthy.
And I'll be damned, she was right.
Yeah, that must have been like, and it's always an interesting time when you first find somebody, and it's very magical at first.
Yeah, it was rough at first.
It was not magical at all.
No, man, at first it was rough. I was really, for 5 years, she, I wasn't, having it, and she just would not let go.
You know the line about George and Tammy that says Tammy loved George and he tortured her for it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot like what we had going on. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
a lot of what we had going on the first probably 5 years. It was just a lot of, I was very young. I had a newborn. I had like a toddler at the time, 2 years old. And Willie was touring 200 days a year with his full band at that time. And it was just a really tumultuous first half of our lives together. But we pulled through, and the last 7 or 8 now have been just blissful.
Yeah.
And we just haven't fallen out of that honeymoon stage yet. And it's been really great.
It's really cool that to have the same goal together, a partner. And, I've had relationships and I was married, but I never really, it's the first time I've really ever had a partner, so that means a lot.
Oh boy, yeah, that's so true. You could be married and not really have a partner.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of that was my fault too. Kira and I met, when I was a younger man, we would not have lasted because, I was an asshole, self-absorbed asshole. Still kind of am.
Was.
Well, that's amazing. It's like you step outside of yourself and you have not so much of an epiphany. It's like, oh God, I'm just so embarrassed the way I was. And
yeah.
That arrogance, life will wear that arrogance right out of it.
Yeah.
It is really what it's worth it. It really is. And it only gets better from there.
Yeah.
So you do it all.
Blissful.
It is. You do it all. You produce, you book, you manage yourselves.
Yeah.
We have separate jobs. Kira handles the business end of stuff. I handle all the mechanicals. Like, I do most of the studio stuff when it needs to be done, and I do all the driving. I load everything in if we don't have help. The deal is if you'll handle all that business crap, because that is just terrible. It's like you don't ever have to touch a piece of gear. She does, but she doesn't have to. If we get to a venue, she walks right in, sits down, starts drinking. That's our deal, man. I know.
Don't do that.
She does it every time.
Definitely do.
I know, it's so great. Just like, I don't want to deal with that business stuff. I don't want to, deal with taxes, paperwork. It's just a headache.
Yeah.
Deal with the booking.
Yeah.
So what is
That's
it
what
like
burned me out.
What's it like though?
Go ahead. Sorry.
What's it like though to go around and go booking and calling the venues? How does that work for you?
That is not the most fun part of our jobs. I work.
Yes, it's true.
I never, like right now, I don't have my, because we're doing this interview, that I'm not doing any of the other work, but I'm never not working. We can be in the middle of a show and get a phone call, if we're on break or something, get a phone call and I'm going to take it, especially if it's about booking. I am to people that can, that help us book, to club promoters, to our PR firm, to anybody that's a part of our team. I am pretty much constantly available to them. And I think that that's really important at this level, and to our fans as well, if they want to reach out and say how great we are, I want to hear it. I think that's really important at the level that we're at, because we're just now starting to see like a big incline, fingers crossed. And I think it's really important to be accessible to kind of everybody out there, just so that they know, like, you're not some curmudgeon that's, you know, like, oh, I hate this part of the job. It's a lot. It's overwhelming at times, but.
And a lot of aspects of the game have changed since my career, you know, when I got my record deal, you know, there's, you know, the social media aspect of it, which is a must. I can't stand social media, but it's a necessary evil in this industry, you know. So on top of everything else she has to do, she has to make sure all these social media platforms are constantly updated. There's got to be constant content. I get tired of being filmed and pictures taken all the time, you know. So she's like, we got to have content. We have to have content.
It is content.
That's a whole other element of the game. You know, a lot of people, when they get to a level of success, they hire somebody to just do that for them. It's such a headache, you know. But Kira works really hard. She works.
We both do.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. It also pays to be your own, you know, your entrepreneurs. And
but it's funny, I'll be driving down the highway.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you, when you're driving down the highway?
Yeah. And, you know, she'll have the laptop. I'm sorry about the delay. The delay gets me every time.
It's killing it. I can tell.
We'll be, you know, I'll be driving down the highway. She'll have the laptop out, feet up on the dash, just, you know, going to town. Though on this end, at this level, when you're doing everything yourself, the work never stops, you know.
Which is a blessing, really, because it could be the other way around, and that would be devastating. So I'm thankful that I spend every day, you know, with my phone in hand or laptop in lap. And, you know, because that means people are contacting us and there's communication there. So that's a really important thing.
Yeah, and it goes beyond, you know, having to keep updating Facebook and Instagram and all of these other things. Yeah, it's quite.
Sorry, it delayed. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, it's just so much to sit there and have to constantly update Facebook and Instagram and all those things.
Yeah,
constant hassle.
And if they would quit coming out with new ones, that would be great.
Yeah, really. How do you turn around?
I know, it's awful.
And you got to get on them because everybody's on them, and it's like there's this fear of missing out.
Once FOMO, fear of missing out. Yeah. Once I learn one, another one pops up, and I'm just, you know, I'm right there. We talked about how young and great I am, but I'm right there at that age where it's like some of this is starting to slip a bit, where, you know, Facebook and Instagram are the ones that I know. So like TikTok and Twitter and all these, I'm just kind of like, sure, I'll get on that too. But it's a challenge for sure.
Yeah, isn't it nice though to have a daughter who's like tapped into that? I have one. I just like, you know, she kind of keeps me up to date on the latest things that are happening. There's so many other songs you do, and you cover John Prine. This is a beautiful cover.
That was the one that we kind of, as a Waymores, we thought we would do just a little video for that song at our farm, our family's farm, and we had, you know, it got us going, right? We had people requesting us for shows all the way out in Arizona.
That was our first like big tour, because somebody in Arizona got a hold of that video and they were like, we got to have you out here. So we booked that date and then
booked a tour around it.
Routed around it, and we never stopped after that until the pandemic.
In spite of ourselves, it's just a really lovely song. John Prine, Iris Dement, and just they do such a the lyrics I just love so much.
Yeah,
very, very nice. And also, there's a documentary out there too. I was perusing your YouTube channel. How did that happen?
It was like a little promo thing. Somebody suggested that we needed a little quick documentary to show what we were about. So we were like, okay. So we just whipped our iPhones out and shot day-to-day life, you know, had a friend edit it down, and it got such a good response. We made 2.
Yeah, we did. It's called The Rooster is Real, or The Rooster Was Real.
The Rooster Was Real.
Because in the first one, you can hear our rooster crow at the farm. And I was like, oh man, that's going to sound so fake.
Yeah.
And so we thought we'd put it out there. So The Rooster is Real, Volume 1 and 2. And it's just, that one is a lot of life down there, down in South Georgia or Middle Georgia, living on the farm and stuff. And we talk a lot about just how animals are better than people. And But there's a lot of interviews in there as well with our friend that edited it. She would ask us some questions just about how we came to be, and
Yeah,
it's fun.
it was just a booking tool.
Yeah.
Really was all it started out to be, but I
Captures
like
your
them.
personalities. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It gives you a good window into it, and who's this duo, and it really gets you like inspired. You've been touring. So are you basically like touring basically Georgia, Florida, Texas, Louisiana? Do you go beyond that area?
We go to Arizona.
We go out to New Mexico.
Yeah.
And then we go up to like Pittsburgh and anything north of Pittsburgh.
Nope. That's
Not yet.
Yeah.
So we've got a little a little corner bracket carved out for ourselves. We do a lot of stuff in Texas because we're on a label out of Austin, Texas. So, and so we wind up in Texas a lot. And
love Austin.
And Georgia and Texas are probably where we play all the places that we mentioned, but we spend most of our time in Georgia and Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what a great community Austin is. And the festival. Yeah. They're so into the arts and music there. It's good vibe there.
Yeah, we love it every time we get to go out there.
I was speaking of Texas, you cover Steve Earle. I like another great video.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Still in Love with You. That's out there.
That's right. We haven't played that in a while, but yeah, Steve Earle's one of my big heroes, and hers too now. Mm-hmm. So it would just, when we started doing the Waymores and the standards that we would play, because you have to fill a night, of course we do the traditional stuff, but we also play the Steve Earle songs that I want to play, but yeah, I really like I just really like Steve Earle's songwriting, and, been a fan for a long time.
And the video is shot by this van. What does it say on the van? I'm just like curious.
Colonial.
It says Colonial.
It was a Colonial bread truck.
Yeah. Now it's like all hollowed out, and it's got wasps and hornets all in it and stuff. It
was my uncle Dwayne's back in the 60s and in early 70s, I guess. I think it's an early 70s model. Yeah, but it was his van as a teenager, and he just never throws anything away.
Yeah.
I always see that. It kind of reminds me of American Pickers, that show on cable TV.
Yeah.
Junks off.
Yeah. I think that too.
Whose dog is in that video?
That's our dog Loretta.
That's our dog Loretta. She's out there now.
Yeah.
She's not allowed in here right now. While we're getting interviewed, she would take it over and be the shining star. We call her our Hollywood dog because during the filming of that, and then in several things after, she will sit on a mark and leave at the same time every take.
Yeah, she would do the same thing every take. Like, this is incredible, and she just acts like such a prima donna. She's scared of everything, and she's a very Hollywood dog.
Yeah,
we had to stop using her because her head was getting too
big. Perfect for Hollywood. Yeah, the covers are fantastic. Yeah, I could tell you who you are. Fantastic.
Well, thank you for listening to all that.
Yeah, thank you.
I really enjoyed. I love that kind of music. It's just perfect for easy listening when you need to. Yeah,
and we really like just having both touring of us being used to touring with full bands, just having the two acoustics. It's so freeing because we know so many songs that we could play, that's like, oh, I could play this and you would know what to do. There's not a whole band's hand to hold. Everybody's, it's just the freedom of it. I love it. It's one of my favorite ways to perform, just her and I.
Yeah. Don't have to do too much rehearsal. You're not coordinating all these pieces, parts. So it's got to be just that much more enjoyable. Also, like your Hank Williams cover is really excellent. Another one.
Thank you.
Lost Highway. Just, this is all on your website here.
Yeah, that one was really kind of fun and random. We happened to be driving through that town,
Montgomery,
and so we thought we'd stop and see Hank, and there happened to be like
a bunch of people there to see his grave, and so we started filming this video, playing the song several times, and we had an audience, the whole time we were playing it. They would all just,
and they're still fans,
and they still talk
to us today. They followed us that day on social media, and they've come out to some shows, and they still follow us now.
Awesome. I was thinking, I'd like to hear a little of you doing the John Prine song, but I don't want to deal with copyright issues.
Yeah, we could play something off our record though.
Yeah, let's do something, another track off Stone Sessions. This is out on April 8th, 2022.
Yep. Yeah. We're going to do I Don't Like the Liquor. Are you ready? I like the whiskey, but the whiskey likes me. He's always coming round, tugging on my sleeve, singing, "Wee Daddy, take a drink of me." I don't like tequila, but tequila likes me. He's always coming round, tugging on my sleeve, singing, "Wee Mama, take a drink of me." If I had just a nickel for every drink I ever drunk, I couldn't pack all that money into an old railroad trunk. I don't like the cocaine, but the cocaine likes me. He's always coming round, tugging on my sleeve, singing, "Wee Mama, take a sniff of me." You know I love the reefer and the reefer loves me. We always get along and he never does me wrong, singing, "Wee Daddy, take a puff of me." If I had just a nickel for every drink I ever drunk, I couldn't pack all that money into an old railroad trunk. I don't like the liquor, but the liquor likes me. He's always coming round, tugging on my sleeve, singing, "Wee Daddy, take a drink of me." Singing, "Wee Mama, take a drink of me."
Oh, thank you so much. Anders Thompson, lyricist on this. It's just a wonderful, excellent track. I also like Caught, a cheating song.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a cheating song.
So that's a Dale Watson song, and we were fortunate enough to have Dale Watson himself play guitar on that track. And so Kira had this crazy idea. She said, "Let's ask Dale," because we've had the privilege of hanging out with Dale a couple of times. She said, "Let's ask Dale if he'll play guitar." And I was like, "You crazy. He's never gonna." I was wrong. He did. Took him a little while, but he did it.
And then we got lucky enough to have Katie Shore from Asleep at the Wheel play fiddle on it as well. She played this crazy weird moment where I ended up singing that song with Dale on stage at the Continental Club, and Katie was playing fiddle for him at that show, and Katie and I got to talking and then kept in touch after. And so I was just like, you know what, this song could use fiddle. I'm gonna ask Katie. And I asked her, and she said both of them are such just incredibly kind and humble people and artists. And it was just like asking your brother, man. It was they were so quick to just be like, absolutely, that sounds great. And got it right over to us. And we're just so thankful for both of them.
LP is they call it your sophomore project, which sophomore. It's like, I never liked that term. It's just, it's got too many negative connotations.
Right.
Yeah.
But how is the audience response? Have you tried a lot of these out in front of audiences so far, or you're just going to get the chance to do that now?
We've been doing 3 of the songs.
Heart of Stone, Die Right Here, and I Don't Like the Liquor have been played in front of audiences. I think I Don't Like the Liquor is definitely a fan fave. Die Right Here probably got the most attention on digital platforms. That really put us up in the bigger numbers on Spotify with like 100,000 streams, like all-time streams. Okay. So that one was quite a gift from our fans. So those 3 have been played out, but we're so excited we start touring again. Our first show back is February 5th, and then we start heavy touring again in March. And we're just thrilled to be able to sing some of these for them.
And February 5th is at a little Marietta honky tonk called the Rusty Barrel.
Yeah.
And that's kind of our way. We cut our teeth in there. That place is home to us around here as of late, but it's a really fun little just juke joint. No better way to start it all back with just playing in a honky tonk.
Is that a nice place to go dancing? Do people can you move around in
Some
there?
people dance, you can.
There's plenty of room too.
There's plenty of room. They have the tables kind of pushed back, so there's not like a legitimate dance floor, but what honky tonk?
It's a very Texas style honky tonk here in Marietta.
Yeah, I think I've heard about that. It's across town for me. I'm in Peachtree Corners, which is northeast of Atlanta.
Okay.
For those out of town here, and and people are like, "Where's Decatur?" That's just east of it. That's where Eddie's Attic is, which is one of my favorite venues to talk about. And
I wish. I hope that this year we'll get the chance to play Eddie's. We were this close, but they had to book the date before we were ready, so. Hopefully we'll get a chance to play there this year. It's a really great venue. Yeah,
it's definitely on the bucket list of places to play.
So when you're touring, is it all driving? Do you do any flying? I guess so Arizona, you'd probably be flying more.
No, we drive.
We drove.
Drive all the way.
Drive all the way. So we try our best when I'm routing to not do more than like 6.5 hours driving in a day, like to the next venue. Yeah. That gives you time to wake up, get ready, go, drive, and then get to the next town before sound check. And then I had vocal cord surgery. So with my surgery and recovery, we're not allowed to do more than like 3 shows in a row. I skipped that a couple of times, that rule on this tour coming up in March. But we try to do like 4 days and then take a day or 2 off. And then, go on our way. But it's hard when people want you to play and you want to play. You want to get every time that you can.
Yeah.
How was that recovery from vocal cord surgery? What's involved with that?
Oh, Willie's favorite. I had to be silent for about 2 months. And then I started he loved it. Then I started coming like each day doing just vocal warm-ups, and then I would just speak with him one-on-one or with my son one-on-one, and then it got to more conversational, like in a group, and now we're back full-time speaking, much to his dismay. Full-time speaking and singing. We're not quite at show level yet, but we will be by February 5th. We've got to start picking up our rehearsals a little bit, just to make sure that my voice is ready for 3 hours. Because right now rehearsals are still at about an hour.
Because sometimes, you play showcases where you do 90 minutes, but sometimes you play the juke joints where you got to play all night long.
Yeah.
Love them both.
Yeah.
It's, it's so much harder than it looks. I mean, it's funny. Performers can make it just look so easy. It's like, how hard can that be? I'm just going to sing here in front of people 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
You don't know what that. You try that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough.
It's been before my surgery, because I had this surgery last February and we got back to work too soon and undid everything that they had done. So I just sang through them until November of last year when I had the surgery again, and we did it right that time. But it's really difficult singing with vocal nodules. I would have to drink a lot of tequila. Wasn't fun at all.
Not bad.
It's fun for me either, brother.
Yeah.
More tequila, come on.
Yeah.
I came across another great track. Weeds is the title track.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fun story behind that song.
Oh God.
You want me to tell?
You tell it.
Yeah. So we went through this phase right before we started touring. Man, there was just a lot of negative people in our lives,
Sure.
They were really getting on our nerves and they were starting to grain on our relationship, So one day we just dropped the hammer and just let a ton of people go in our lives. We're like, you have to go. You're toxic. You really just not a good person. And I don't want you around me. So we were driving down to the farm. And I said poetically, if you will, our life, things had turned around and, positivity just came back into our lives. And I said to Kira, look how your garden grows when you pull the weeds. And she was like,
I immediately wrote it down.
There's the lyric.
Yeah. And then before you know it, she had the song. That's all her. It's a great song, and she really does a great vocal performance on it as well.
Thanks.
Love that. It's you and me, baby, westbound and down.
Yeah.
That's right.
So right when we let those, like the first big positive light, that because it's hard to let people go in your life. You don't know if you're making the right decision. And we were kind of leaving it up to the universe to let us know that we had made the right decision. And that's when our tour all the way out west.
Our first big tour came around.
Yeah, our first big tour came around. So that was that line about it's you and me, westbound and down. Because that was our sign that, you made the right choice. And man, we have not looked back since.
Yeah.
It's
and
been kind of great.
And, it's hard in this industry to not let those kind of just terrible people get into your life, because the music industry is riddled with them, and so we're very guarded now. We're very particular about who we let into our lives. And we have, not saying that we have a lot of friends. We have friends all over the country that we love and adore. But we learned a valuable, lesson that it's like, hey, man, there are people that are not your friends. They just want what they think your place in the industry. They're looking for something from you.
Yeah.
So we keep people at a good arm's length.
That's the typical story. You hear so many people who've been in the business for so many years, and they're so sorry they signed certain contracts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Horror story.
Absolutely.
Some of the biggest successful acts too. It's really sad.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It is sad.
So the future, are you starting to write the next EP or album?
Oh Lord.
No, we're just getting this one under our belts, and not because when a lot of these songs we haven't played out yet. So, we've made the record, but we actually have to sit down and work up acoustic versions of these songs to do, so we're nowhere near the writing for the next album yet. That still probably, and we have some songs already that we can put on this other album. We have other songs that we didn't use on this one, but as far as planning another album or writing for it, we're nowhere near off of work.
I'm trying to get through this one without having a heart attack.
Yeah.
Then we'll start the next one. It's hard putting out an album.
Making the record is aggravating as hell, but still that's the easiest part of it, is making the actual record.
Yeah.
Touring for that record, booking touring for that record, getting press for that record, getting funding for touring. That stuff, that never ends. You're always working.
Always.
Yeah, so much work goes into that, and people don't realize, the public doesn't realize that you're basically on a treadmill. I read about like the Eagles, and it's like, touring, recording, coming back to touring. It's like it never ends. So I can understand why after a decade, you're exhausted.
Yeah. That was funny thing about the quarantine was there was a couple times. I mean, we were just about to head to England for 2 weeks for another tour in England, and like 2 days before everything shut down, and we were so aggravated about it. But then a little bit later, once we started like writing and started to see a light at the end of the tunnel, we're like, this was actually a great reset, because man, I was tired. The whole song Road Worn is talking about Kira, unpacking, us unpacking our suitcases. We hadn't unpacked suitcases in 2 years.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, this feels wrong. These clothes go in a suitcase, not a dresser drawer.
Yeah.
Curious about this one other song called Dumb Old Dog. Who is that?
Oh,
Who's that about?
That's about Loretta.
Yeah, that's a great, that's a funny story. I'm talking a lot, but that's a funny story.
Continue.
We were trying to write a children's song. We just thought, hey, let's just try to write a children's song. And it took an adult turn real fast.
Hilarious.
It actually, some of our friends make cameos in that song. I don't know that they know this. Maybe I shouldn't say it.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't. But we named like all of the people that we name, and they're our friends of ours.
Yeah.
They don't have the traits of the characters in the songs.
Some of them do.
Some of them do, absolutely. But we used some friends' names. It's a fun song. I really like that song.
Yeah, never got a woman because he's always
Yeah, because he always stunk. Yeah.
But the moral to it is, don't get mad at the snake when you get snake bits. It's like, why do you expect people to do different than they're going to do? It's like, it's your fault for being upset at them for thinking they're going to be a good person when they're not a good person.
Awesome. So Stone Sessions is out April 8th. Chicken Ranch Records, that's out of Austin.
Right. Yes, sir.
Well, thank you so much for stopping by and talking
thanks
about the
for
new
having us.
album.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. Take care and best wishes on the road. Stay safe. Have a good one.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Come
you
see us
too.
sometime.
Yeah, come
Absolutely
see us in
will.
Atlanta.
Take care. Bye
All right.
bye.